Hello everyone, it's day 45 and today I have April 17 Indian Express newspaper. So there are a few important articles over the explained page as always. So first article is about the election commission that held the first time election in 1952, 51, 52, and another is about the Israel's weapon that has repelled the Iran's attack. So let us see what these two articles are going to argue. So first is about the election commission and its achievement and how it conducted first election of the independent India. So let us see. So in 1957, it is given that constituencies were redrawn after delimitation. New states and boundaries came after reorganization. So in 1956, with the recommendation of Fazal Ali Commission, a State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956, and that led to the delimitation and the change of boundaries of many states. So let us see what this article is going to say. So, if India's first Lok Sabha election was, among the other things, an act of faith, the second was a race against time, obviously. So, what are the administrative challenges that came in the second election? The election of 1957 presents formidable administrative challenges. The Delimitation Commission was constituted in 1952 to redraw constituencies based on data from the 1951 census. Also, the State Reorganization Commission, led by Justice Fazal Ali, had made its recommendation in 1955, which were implemented in 1956. Thus, the boundaries of states too were different from those during the first Lok Sabha election 1951-52. In 1956, it looked as though the election could be delayed. On May 11 that year, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru told the Lok Sabha, so far as the Election Commission is concerned, they are always preparing for the next step. The difficulty comes in when the new constituencies will have to be formed because of new states and for other reasons. So far as the government are concerned, they are anxious to have the elections as usual in the March next 1957. The difficulty arising out of the reorganization of states was very real and big. India had 27 states in 1951-52, 9 Part A states, provinces of British India ruled by governor and with an elected state legislature. 8 Part B states, former princely states or group of princely states governed by the Raj Pramukh, and 10 Part C states, province of British India governed by the Chief Commissioner who was appointed by the President, and some princely states. In 1957, there were 14 states and 6 union territories. So elections were to be held for 494 Lok Sabha seats in 403 constituencies, including 91 seats with double members, one general category and other from a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, and 3,102 state assembly seats in 2,518 constituencies. So 584 had double members. There was there was another tight deadline to meet. Elections to the post of president and vice president had to be held before May 13, 1957. This meant for the Lok Sabha election would have to be completed by the end of March 1957. Any delay would require an amendment to the constitution. So, Chief Election Commissioner Sukumar Sen wrote of the challenge and the Election Commission's determination to meet it. Influential sections of the public opinion were more or less convinced that it was an impossible task and that the election would have to be postponed by a year or so, and life of the legislatures extended accordingly by an amendment of the constitution. The commission considered that it would be setting up a very bad precedent if, merely because of certain temporary, though formidable difficulties, the country was forced to amend its constitution and extend the terms of the very first legislative bodies that had been set up under it. So, in the spring of 1957, the Election Commission achieved the impossible. Elections were held across the country in just over a fortnight. So, the political landscape. As in 1952, the Congress was far ahead of the field. The Communist Party of India and Praja Socialist Party were the only major forces in the opposition. The Bharatiya Jana Sangh, the precursor of BJP, was still trying to come into its own. So, by 1957, leaders who might have mounted a political challenge to Nehru have no longer alive. Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had passed away in 1953, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar 1956. The Gandhian J.B. Kriplani had merged his KMPP with the Jayaprakash Narayan's Socialist Party to form the PSP, that is a Praja Socialist Party, and take on the Congress. However, JP later moved away from the active politics and aligned with Vinoba Bhave to campaign for his Bhudan movement, a voluntary land reform movement, and a Sarvodaya program for the upliftment of all classes in the society. So just before the elections, Nehru had a setback when Chakravarti Raja Gopalachari, the last Governor General of India and former Chief Minister of Madras, led to form the Indian National Democratic Congress. The party, however, failed to make an impact in the election, and Rajaji later formed the Swatantra Party. Okay, so Swatantra Party, I think, was the first party to be recognized as lead opposition party. I think 1969, first time leader of opposition came from Swatantra Party. So modern ballot papers, a total 19.36 crore voters, excluding Jammu and Kashmir, Andamans and Lakshadweep Minicoy Islands, were enrolled to vote between February 24 and March 14, 1957. Some constituencies in the hilly regions of Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, which was a union territory at that time, were cut off by snow and could vote only in June and July. A total 9.21 crore women were enrolled to vote, and in the rural areas, separate polling stations were set up for the women in Parda. Some 9.26 lakh security personnel, 2.73 lakh policemen, and 1.68 lakh chowkidars were deployed for the election. More than 21 lakh ballot boxes were used, but since some boxes were recycled from 1951 to 52, only 4.56 lakh new boxes had to be arranged. So reveals the 1957 Election Commission report. In the first Lok Sabha election, voters were given papers the size of rupee 1 currency note and asked to drop in the designated ballot box for the candidate of their choice. The party changed in 1957. A new type of ballot paper was introduced, which remained in use until the arrival of the electronic voting machine. On August 22, 1956, Minister of Law and Affairs Charu Chandra Vishwas told Lok Sabha, the Election Commission has under consideration the question of introduction of a system of voting called the marking system. A ballot paper will bear the names and, if possible, symbols of all the candidates. The election will secretly place a mark against the name of the candidate of his choice. The new ballot paper contained a serial number and the name of each candidate along with their party affiliation and election symbol. The security press in Nasik printed 57.93 crore ballot papers for the 1957 election. Like in 1951-52, voters participated with enthusiasm. The Election Commission report reveals that at a polling station in Bihar, an old woman demanded to see Pandit Nehru before voting. At a polling station in UP, a few voters refused to vote for anyone but Gandhi ji and Nehru ji. In Madras, a voter insisted or on voting for the chief election commissioner, saying, "I want to vote for Sri Sukumar Sen only and not the other candidate of any parties. All these parties have been harassing me with propaganda." However, the overall polling percentage in 1957 fell to 47.54% from the 51.15% in the first Lok Sabha election. The highest turnout, 75.68%, was recorded in Kottayam in Kerala, while Kangra, which was then in Punjab, had the lowest turnout, 16.94%. Sweep for Congress. Despite the rumbling within the Congress, the party ended up stronger after the election, with its vote share going up from 44.93% in 1952 to 47.78% in 1957. The party won 371 seats, even 7 more than the 1952. CPI came a distant second with 27 seats, 9 in Kerala and 6 in West Bengal. Of the 45 women who contested, 22 won. Nehru won his second state election from the Phulpur after losing from Bombay in 1952. Moraji Desai won from Surat, Lal Bahadur Shastri from Allahabad, now Prayagraj, and Firoz Gandhi from Rai Bareli. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the BJS candidate from Mathura, Lucknow, and Balrampur, but won only in Balrampur. Acharya Kriplani won from Sitamarhi, while his wife Sucheta won from New Delhi as a Congress nominee. Vijay Raja Scindia, who would later play a key role in BJS BJP, won as a Congress candidate from Guna. Prominent among the losers were VV Giri, who would later become president. He came in third at the two-member Parathiviram seat. Ram Manohar Lohiya contested from Chandoli as an independent and lost. On April 17, 1957, Nehru, 68, took oath as a prime minister. His popularity was under undiminished, and the Congress under him was the strongest it had seen. It had been since independence. But this 1957-62 would be his last full term as prime minister. As we know that in 1962, India-China war happened, in which India lost due to certain logistic issues, and that led to the Jawaharlal Nehru coming in distress, and maybe that was the reason he got heart attack in 1964, and 1964 he died, and then Lal Bahadur Shastri became India's second prime minister. So let us see Israel's weapon that thwarted Iran attack. So what is that? From Iron Dome to Arrow, components of air defense. So let us see. Israel's multi-layered air defense system intercepted 99% of the wave of 300 long-range missiles and armed drones launched by the Iran on Saturday night in retaliation for the Israeli attack on its embassy premises in Damascus, Syria earlier this month. The Israel Defense Forces said only a few missiles landed in Israel territory, causing minimal damage to an air base in southern Israel and injuring a child. So, Israel's air defense system is meant to protect against a range of aerial threats, including aircraft, cruise and ballistic missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles. The air defense systems can target projectiles at the source or when in transit. The cruise missiles fly at low heights. Ballistic missiles follow high parabolic trajectories. Because of their standard parabolic trajectory, ballistic missiles are easier to track compared to cruise missiles, which can fox air defense system due to their maneuverability. So systems such as Arrow 2 and Arrow 3, David's Sling, Iron Dome, Patriot, Advanced Capability 2, and PAC 3 are integrated to work in tandem with the advanced fighter aircraft operated by the Israeli Air Force. The Arrow system, developed in collaboration with the United States, is a family of anti ballistic missiles that are capable of intercepting long range missiles in the upper atmosphere. Arrow 3 was employed against long range missiles launched by Yemen's Iran backed Houthis militia, according to a report in the um, Associated Press. So, David's Sling. So, let us mark this down about the Arrow 3. The Arrow system, which was designed by in collaboration with the United States. So, Arrow 3 and David Sling or Stunner is Israel's medium range. So David Sling medium range air defense system with can intercept cruise missile, ballistic missiles and aircraft. It has a range of 300 kilometers. So the Iron Dome, obviously this is the rock star of Israel's indigenous short range air defense system. According to the manufacturer Rafale, so this is the company's name Rafale, and one is the Rafale aircraft, which is being manufactured by Dassault Aviation. So that Rafale is different, and this Rafale is the company's name. That Rafale is a aircraft name. It was first used in the combat interception in April 2011. It is the only multi-mission system in the world that provides a Rambet proven a solution to defeat very short ranges, very long, and as well as the rocket artillery and mortar threats, CRAM and V-SHORAD. Aircraft, helicopter, UAVs, PGMs, and cruise missiles for land and naval air defense, operating 24/7 in all weather conditions, the manufacturer says. So, with a 70-kilometer range, the dome has been effective against short range threats such as launched by Hamas, the Palestinian military group, and the US made Patriot PAC 2 and PAC 3 air defense system that can intercept range of missiles and target aircraft and drones. They are among the oldest air defense system and were used during the first Gulf War in 1991 for intercepting Scud missiles launched by Iraq. So this I have read multiple times. The Scud missiles launched by Iraq in 1991. So this may be important. We should remember. Then American-built F-16 and F-35 fighter jets, which are equipped with the air-to-air missiles, play a major role in Israel's air defense. So Israel is also developing a system called Iron Beam. This is important. Iron Beam to intercept incoming threats with laser technologies. It is not fully operational yet. So these are the few important things, and there is a Spider also, known as family of multi-range mobile air defense system to defend large areas against aerial attacks. So this was about the Israel's air defense system. So there's another important article regarding the space tourism. So let us see what this article is to say. So Gopi Thotakura, an entrepreneur and a pilot, is said to become the first person of Indian origin to go into space as a tourist on the NS-25 mission of Blue Origin, a company founded by Jeff Bezos, who is also the founder of Amazon. So Thotakura has been selected as one of the 6 crew members of the mission. The launch date of the mission is yet to be announced. So in recent year, space tourism has grown in popularity. In 2023, the space tourism market was estimated to be worth $848.28 million. It is expected to grow $27 billion by 2032. However, there are several challenges that limit the industry's growth. So let us see what is space tourism. So space tourism is a form of space travel which is done for the recreational or business purposes. There are two main types of space tourism: suborbital and orbital. The suborbital, okay, suborbital spacecraft takes passenger just beyond the Kármán line. It lies nearly 100 kilometers above our heads and is considered to be the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and outer space. Passenger get to spend few minutes in outer space and then come back to Earth. The NS-25 mission is a suborbital mission, and another is the orbital spacecraft takes passenger much farther than Kármán line. Usually, passengers can spend from a couple of days or more than a week at an altitude up to 400 kilometers. So in 2021, SpaceX Falcon 9 took four passengers to an altitude of 160 kilometers, where they spent 3 days orbiting the Earth. So what are the challenges? Let us see. So currently, space tourism is expensive. Obviously, this is one of the key challenge. A passenger generally has to pay at least $1 million to reach outer space. This is mainly because of high manufacturing cost and cost of fuel. Studies have found that space tourism may cause environmental damage as rockets emit gaseous obviously solid chemicals directly into the upper atmosphere. A 2022 study published in the journal Earth's Future found that the soot emissions from rocket launches are far more effective at warming the atmosphere as compared to other sources. Okay, soot emissions from the rocket launches. So safety is also a concern. Okay, obviously a total of 677 people have flown into space and 19 of them have died. 19 of them have died as of November 2023, according to the report by Astronomy magazine. This means that approximately 3% of astronauts died during their space flight, which is a high fatality rate. Okay, so there's another important article which I will not read, but important to know that amid global conflicts, the FPI, that is foreign portfolio investment, is being outflowing from the country, which is leading to the depreciation of the Indian rupee. So Indian rupee now stands at 83.54 against the dollar, and also IMF also raised the uh, f- growth projection of India to 6.8% in financial year 25. So this is all about from today's newspaper. So we'll meet tomorrow.